thank everybody today for your time. First and foremost, really do appreciate it. Um, I would love to start with getting to know what the journey has meant to all of you. Now that we're coming to the end, we'll start with Lily on this one.
Oh, well, gosh, I love this show. I've learned so much from my fellow actors, but also just in general, like being consistently on a TV show for 3 seasons and creating that little sense of family and having new pages with writers that throw everything at you all the time in a world that is always insane, where you might die at any minute and you never know what's like popping out of a hole in the ground. It's very close to my heart, and I feel really lucky that I think especially with season 3 we get to just grow and grow as actors, but also our characters are just shifting constantly and we have so many new things to play with and adjust to.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
Josh?
the whole show. It's like I always say to people, I don't know if there'll ever be another kind of show like this. You know, we kind of have entered a new age of streaming shows and stuff like this, and this kind of the last vestige of like original network content that's truly original and truly just out the gate. You know, like so it's been like very very special, and it's very bittersweet to wrap it up in the third season, but in that, I think the show has kicked up another gear. All the actors have come with like a brand new energy. Everyone's grounded in their characters, and I think this season really should show the audiences how much the show actually means to us as actors, and also the characters themselves. You know, I think I hope it is a satisfying conclusion that it will be bittersweet. Yeah.
I'm having so. Rohan, what about you?
I felt it's been an absolute blast. Coming onto this show, it's been my first major TV project or major project in general, and working on this for like close to 3 years. It's we've been through a lot. I've grown certainly a lot as a person, as an actor, and I've got to meet a really lovely group of friends in both the cast and crew, and following these characters' journeys from 2 years ago to now, we've come such a long way, and there's been so much development and growth, and the whole process has been really rewarding. And I think it finally comes to a head in this particular season, which is so explosive and action packed, and got all the twists and turns in the right places. And yeah, we end on a real high with this one. It's been great.
That's wonderful. Thank you all. That first answer there.
I would argue that your guys' characters have made the most growth throughout the series. I think that I started, no offense, hating all your guys' characters, and now like watching the third season, I'm like really rooting for them. But like that being said, like what do you feel that your characters have learned the most in this series, and what do you feel you've learned the most from your characters? Anyone, you can start.
I think Veronica has learned to love. Like simply put, it's like a little creature that's never learned to love, and she all of a sudden blossoms into a human that is allowing herself to experience those feelings and feel them for others. She cares. She's afraid, but the fear comes from caring for something as opposed to just being afraid of the horrors of the world. And I think what I learned from her is it was challenging to me to believe that the person who fell in the sinkhole in season 1 would believably be the person we end up with in season 3. But I think it just made me look at humanity and be like, oh no, that's human. It's human to adapt to the circumstances you're in and to actually have the courage to allow yourself to enjoy things as they come. I think that's something that I took from her.
Yeah. I think for Lucas, like he is coming from where he's come from with his aggressive, kind of angry personality in the first season. I think he's learnt to love himself a bit, like to notice and access the parts of him, the good parts of him, because I think throughout the season he's found it really hard to think positively about himself, to find hope and joy. It's all been fear and reactive and aggressive and angry. And I think at the end of season 2, and with his relationship with Veronica, and the news that he's going to have a child, has forced him to really take a good hard look at himself and access those parts and make those parts the biggest part of himself, those good parts, and know that they can exist with his past and his bad behavior in the past. You know what I mean? And I think I've learned from him that it doesn't matter where you are. If you can access those parts, you can take that anywhere. You can take that into a situation where you haven't been a good person in the past. So back to LA, he was afraid of going back to present day LA and not being able to hold on to who he became in 10,000 BC. So that's quite a powerful lesson for me. Is traveling around a lot, you go to a new place, you can almost start again, and just knowing that you can actually learn those new good parts and access those good parts of yourself and bring it back to a situation where you've been before and maybe haven't been that person, and really access those lessons. And you can be transient a little bit, if that makes sense. I don't know.
No, it totally makes sense.
When Scott came into this, he was relatively alone, isolated. He was self-soothing, very unsure of himself, and being thrown into this situation with all these vibrant different characters, he really didn't know his place. And throughout the course of the series and the relationships he establishes with these characters, it's really trust that what gives him that strength, that he is seen in a way that he doesn't see himself. Other people give him the strength and courage to be himself and to trust himself. And I think that the power of friendship was a really big, significant motivator for him throughout all 3 seasons. What I've learned from Scott is about trusting in oneself, that I'm here for a reason. What I contribute has value, and other people acknowledge that and see it. And the community that we've built as a family through making this show has been one of the more strong points and biggest takeaways for me going forward.
Love that. I think we have to wrap up because we have a minute left, but thank you guys so much.
Yes,
Sorry to say I didn't
you.
like your characters at the beginning, but I do now.
No, it's okay. I got so many messages being like, why are you like this? Why did you do this?
Yeah.
Now that's all stopped. Now it's so, you know what? You're not the only one, and we understand.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, watching the first 3 of episode or season 3, I'm like, go Veronica, you're like the underdog. Like, way to kick everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.